My name's Carolyn, and probably from the name of my talk, you might have expected me to walk out here in a bathrobe, but I spared you all. Like many of the speakers tonight, I thought long and hard about what I would wear to the point where I took an inventory of all of the clothes that I have. And because how many of us really have any idea what is sitting in our closets or in our dressers? Even though I go through my clothes from time to time and I think I pare down, to see everything quantified was a little startling. However, I must admit, my sweaters didn't surprise me. We have never spent less money on clothes, but we've strangely have never owned more of them. On average, Americans purchase 60 new articles of clothing every year. Our clothing has become disposable, lasting no more than 2 seasons before needing to be replaced. And this quick-moving retail philosophy is called fast fashion. It all centers around the marketing trends. No longer are wardrobes dictated by the 4 seasons, but instead by these very brief 4-week arbitrary trends. These trends and sales result in impulse shopping. We purchase clothing that we don't need or might have things in our closets already. Fast fashion has caused us to become far removed from a very complicated manufacturing process. I'm standing up here talking about clothes, and I don't even really know how a t-shirt is made. Companies' goals of creating the shortest production time, the cheapest price, and the shortest buying cycles. No longer are we able to feel confident about where our clothing is coming from or the circumstances under which it's made. Knowing where our textiles are produced is just as essential as knowing where our food is grown. Cotton is a plant, and the same agricultural issues related to food are just as pertinent to the textile industry. Despite our efforts in reducing plastic bags from landfills and using plastic bottles, we are still filling our closets with textiles derived from plastics. Petroleum-based polyester has now dominated the textile industry because of its low cost and high. It's not just cheap materials that result in cheaper clothing. As expected, most of our clothes are made in China, and astonishingly, 98% of our clothes are made overseas. Compared that to 1965, when only 5% of our clothes were made overseas. As China begins to produce higher quality goods, basics like t-shirts are being moved to cheaper labor forces of Bangladesh and India. It's easy to forget that labor is still an integral part of garment production, attributing to about 20 to 40% of production costs. Although sewing machines have become automated and digitized, you still need somebody to sit in front of the sewing machine and operate them. Interestingly, sewing is still one of the most common professions in the world. The good news is there are companies out there striving to bring attention to how our clothing is made. Kuyana is an online retailer with the motto, "Fewer, better things." Collections are released just twice a year, and all the while they are encouraging customers to donate clothes through a lean closet movement. Everlane is another online retailer, and this summer they made a blog to talk about the factories in China that produce their backpacks and cashmere. NPR's Planet Money, Seed to Shirt, is an ongoing story tracking how 2 t-shirts are being made. It is humanizing a global story and allowing readers and listeners to follow along from Tennessee, where the cotton is grown, to Bangladesh, where the shirt is eventually made. Not only is knowing where our clothing coming from and what it is made of important, but understanding garment terminology will allow consumers to purchase better made goods. Often this means spending more on fewer items with the intent to properly care for, maintain, and mend them. We should be focusing on choosing and maintaining clothing with better stories. Personal relationships with our clothes don't have to mean buying organic cotton shirts or knowing the name of the guy who made your shoes in Peru. It can be as simple as hunting for a coat in a vintage store or on eBay, customizing a sweater with better buttons, or getting pants taken in for a better fit. We should be altering our consumption by hunting for better quality rather than gathering for quantity. Many of the statistics that I talked about today are from the book Overdressed, but if you are interested in learning more about quality, timelessness, and what to do with your clothes that you don't want, go to thebuttondown.com tomorrow. Go tomorrow.